Hey everybody, I am Afefe with Touch by Tarot and Beyond. I'm here to talk a little politics with you all today. Gonna keep this brief, but I don't know about you. I woke up this morning and my brain got to going around this whole debate now around these MAGA followers coming out and saying, we are not a democracy. The United States is not a democracy. It is a republic, right? It's a republic, period. So I thought, well, wait a minute now. Is this another example where they've just, gone off the rails? But something was just like, let me dig into that a little bit because I wasn't really sure myself. I know what I think of with a democracy. I also understand why these terms are being floated around now because we understand that we are letting the American people know our democracy is under attack and there is a serious threat. That's why we need to get to the polls in November. And because of the risk of authoritarianism and this lean towards authoritarianism, with Donald Trump. So now they've come out and said, they had to come out with something to try and counter that, right? So now they're like, it's not about democracy. Democracy, that was never the point. We are a republic. Well, I went and looked up, first and foremost, something that most, thinking, educated people go to, Merriam-Webster Dictionary. And it says, interestingly enough, it says that it's one of these. The short answer is that democracy and republic are frequently used to mean the same thing, a government in which the people vote for their leaders, right? And it says this was an important distinction at the founding of the United States in direct contrast with the rule of a king or monarchy like Great Britain, all right? And now it says there are some nuances and differences between the words according to their historical use and etymology. So, democracy comes from the Greek meaning rule by the people. Republic comes from the Latin meaning public good or public affair, all right? So they are, again, they're trying to mince words, but then I found another website really interesting. It's called thoughtco.com. Thoughtco.com. They have this little chart and I thought now it's making sense to me. They're saying they on this chart they used pure democracy versus republic. The power in a pure democracy is controlled by the population as a whole. The popular vote, right? We're thinking about the popular vote and how even going back to Hillary getting the popular vote, but the electoral college, that's how Trump got in 2016, right? So that's an interesting thing. In a republic, power is controlled by individual citizens, but those individual citizens are under the laws that are made by elected representatives of the people. In a pure democracy, it is still by the majority. In other words, the majority is the whole idea that elected leaders are public servants of the will of the people. Here, that with this republic, it gets twisted a little bit in that it is more about the people who then elect the representatives who make these choices and decisions. So just a little fodder for thought there, because I do think that this is something that's going to have to be addressed, and I think we're going to hear more about it as the MAGA, faithful, the cult followers continue to try and find, you know, words and meanings and ways to twist the dynamics that we all can see unfolding before our eyes. All right. That said, I also wanted to look at today, you all. It's interesting. I was like, wow, we got Biden, at the G7 summit. The Pope is there, and we've heard that Biden is going to have a private meeting or audience with the Pope. We can imagine. We don't have to stretch our imaginations too far to wonder what types of things he might have in a personal closed door discussion with the Pope, especially with everything around him and this election cycle, as well as what's happened with Hunter. There was a media person who shouted out to him at the G7 summit, shouted out to President Biden around this commutation of Hunter. Already said he wouldn't pardon Hunter, but then this question of commuting his sentence came in, and he turned and said directly at that person, no. This was when he was on his way to shake hands with Zelensky, and someone shouted out, will you commute this? And he said no, just like that. So we'll see what happens. But I just thought it was quite a contrast to think on the one hand, we have yesterday at the Capitol, on Capitol Hill, we had Trump basically having a birthday party with, on Capitol Hill with the GOP faithful. And, and now today we will have, Biden getting support from the Pope and getting some counsel from the Pope himself. I want to look at both of these men because it was interesting to see the way that Trump was lighting up. He needed, Nancy Pelosi said, returning to the scene of the crime, right? But it was interesting to see just how we know that he thrives on adoration. We know that he thrives on Donald Trump. We know that he thrives on manipulation. We know that he has to be back on Capitol Hill was, his dream come true in terms of saying, despite everything, I have maintained and even grown stronger in my grip on the Republican Party, which is now the party of Trump. But I do want to look at, today is his birthday, 78th birthday. And I want to take a look at his state of mind. And I also want to take a look at Biden's state of mind. I feel like in both instances, Trump with his apostles, Biden with the Pope, I feel like both of them, Spirit saying both of them are getting shored up. They're both their spirits. They're what they need to feel stronger and to continue to run this race over the next several months, and especially as we head towards that debate on the 27th. A lot of people didn't think that debate was going to happen, and maybe, who knows, the way that the world we're living in, who knows what could change between now and the 27th. But for sure, if it goes forward, these attempts that they're making, both Biden in his way and Trump in his, to shore themselves up, to feel more in control, to feel that they do have support and the backing of those who matter, right? So I want to take a look at Joe Biden first. Spirit, Joe Biden with the Pope, President Biden with the Pope. What is his state of mind, and what will it be when he comes out of that consultation with the Pope? The Hermit. Wow, that's really powerful. It's as if he's going to come out of it with a very determined sense of his own mission, his own decisions, his own ideas about how he is going to run this race, and how he sees himself needing to serve the people, the better good, talking about a democracy. Because with the Hermit energy, it is about the quest that you go on for a higher cause. It is often a quest that you have to take alone, that you feel, or at times you feel alone because of the roads that you have to travel. So yes, this is a very solitary, it's interesting. This is going to be, President Biden's meeting with the Pope is going to be very, it's going to affirm or confirm for him that in some ways this is about his legacy. He is resigned to what is happening with Hunter. He loves him, of course. That's his only remaining child, and that will never change. But his political future and his legacy, he is looking at it in a very solitary fashion, and I think his meeting with the Pope is going to confirm that. The Queen of Cups, this is Jill. And even though she's not there with him, she very much is right there in his energetic field. And I think when he comes away from that meeting, perhaps the only person that he will share what he speaks about with the Pope will be his wife, Jill Biden. All right. But yes, so he's going to come out of it in a very introspective, a very determined and stay the course way. It's not going to be about, for him, this is not at all about, I had a private audience with the Pope. This is really something deeply personal for President Biden, and he's going to come away from it recognizing, okay, I got to dig in and walk this journey no matter what, even if it feels like I'm being isolated, I'm being ostracized even by certain circles, those who criticize his age, his abilities, etc. He's going to come away from it really focused on the task at hand. Donald Trump. How did Donald Trump come away from that meeting yesterday with his apostles on Capitol Hill? How did Donald Trump come away from that meeting? Seven of Wands, a lot of bluster, and already the difference in the energy there, because Seven of Wands is this makes me feel like gang energy. There's this build up, this rah, you can do it. And so when we talk about a contrast in their energetic fields, there's with Joe Biden, there is this sense of locking down within himself and having the fortitude and the character to do what he believes is right. This other guy, Donald Trump, is all about mob mentality, truly about mob mentality. And that's what got fed. That's what his spirit got fed at Capitol Hill yesterday. The Queen of Wands, interesting. Jill came up for Joe. Is this Melania? Page of Wands. I think so. And I think this is Melania and perhaps Baron. And even look at the character on there. Kind of looks like her a little bit, doesn't it? In a strange sort of way. Yes, he came away, I think, got it. After his conviction, after Donald Trump's conviction, it was important for him to show a show of force even for Melania and his son Barron. See, I'm still that guy. I'm still respected. I'm able to go on Capitol Hill and have people celebrate me. This was very much for him personally. It fed his ability to demonstrate to them, don't worry about these convictions, because I have powerful people who still believe in me and want to help me. The Four of Swords, yes. There was a lot of talk about what's going forward and a lot of jockeying still around the VP position. We heard today that he even said on tape, Donald Trump did, that a reporter said, well, is it true that your VP pick was among those who were with you yesterday? And he sort of laughed it off and said, yes, quite possibly that is it, and that he will be making the announcement at the next month at the convention. We know we saw Vance very close to him. Stefanik, Tim Scott is still in the discussion. I don't know. I'm not feeling it, but we can look at that a little bit later. But staying on him and his state of mind. And the Empress. This is his daughter, Ivanka. Dog it. No. Is this Elise Stefanik? Did he have a conversation with Elise Stefanik? Seven of Swords. No, this is something deceptive. Six of Pentacles, an offer that was being made to him, or that he was about to make, about someone to work with. Is this his daughter Ivanka? Is the Empress being represented by Ivanka? King of Cups. This is Ivanka and Jared. All right, that's it. That's what he got. Donald Trump came away from that yesterday with this big brouhaha with his family, remembering that today is his birthday. So this was a demonstration for him. This show of support by the GOP faithful on Capitol Hill was his way of solidifying and showing his family, Melania and Barron, and Jared and Ivanka, I'm still in charge. I'm going to making this happen. Look at all the support that I have. Look at all the power that I have still amassed. And so I need all of you to still stay in my corner. All right. That's what that was about. All right, you all. I also want to take a quick look at Supreme Court. Whoo, does it ever end? Now we have more and more coming out around Clarence Thomas and the grifting, right? The money that he took and did not report, these additional trips on, I think it was Harlan Crow's private jet, maybe someone else's, I'm not sure. But, we already know, so much came out in the past week around Samuel Alito and his wife Martha, and, tell us how you really feel, right? Tell us how you really feel, Martha and Samuel. So they are on record, and I will tell you, I want to look at this. I felt it in my spirit. I feel like Roberts is pissed off, you guys, like pissed to the height of his pistoriety over this, because we remember he was also put on tape by that reporter, or not reporter, but journalist and activist, and he gave a more Supreme Court like diplomatic answer, right? In the meantime, he's heard, of course, he understands all this that has been coming out, first around Martha Ann and her flag shenanigans, and now Alito himself on tape, clearly partisan, clearly an agenda driven. So I'm getting the sense that Roberts is really angry. Eight of Swords, very very concerned. Look at even the image there, right? Roberts is very concerned about the damage that the reputation of the Supreme Court has taken, and I'm feeling like this is going to result in Alito not being given the opportunity. The Empress comes up again. That's somebody on the court. That's somebody on the court that's been talking to Roberts. I almost feel like, believe it or not, I'm feeling like it's either Comey Barrett or Sotomayor, but somebody's had Robert's ear and said, listen, you got to do something, guy. Even if you just have, clearly there are no mechanisms, Six of Swords, moving forward and having some conversations about what to do. A couple of things I think are coming out. Roberts is upset. I think he is going to have some private conversations with both Clarence Thomas and Alito, but I think Three of Swords, exactly. This damage that's been done is going to be long term, and Roberts is looking at it like, how do we start to regain our respect as a body, as an executive legislative body, and part of the, one of the three major executive branches of government. And the Nine of Pentacles, it is about financial reforms. In some way, he's open to, if not reforms, that financial reporting is going to be start to be stricter, and he's going to emphasize that has to be more strict. Clarence Thomas, though, in particular, I'm feeling like something's up with him, his health. And I wonder, I feel like there's a shakeup coming. I can't feel timing wise when, but I feel like there's a shakeup coming by virtue of not reforms, but by virtue of health and perhaps having to step back because of an inability to function. Clarence Thomas, Ten of Pentacles. This is him going through it with his money situation. Two of Pentacles, having to decide how that going forward, he knows he's in the hot seat. And the Hierophant, he wants to hold on. He's stubborn and he wants to hold on to this seat. He does not want to. He does not want to be lumped in with Alito, first and foremost. He sees himself as somehow superior to Alito, having earned his own spot, his own station on the court in his own way. Very, very pompous. Knight of Wands. That could be Kavanaugh. He feels a changing of the guard. Is that what I'm seeing, Spirit? Clarence Thomas sees a changing of the guard and the future changing King of Pentacles. That's it. He sees a changing of the guard, you all. And I think, but will he leave voluntarily? Will Clarence Thomas leave the court voluntarily, perhaps due to some sort of health issue? Ace of Wands. And y'all know how I feel about my aces. My aces are yes. Yeah. Don't know timing. We can look back at it later. But in terms of what's the next big shakeup on the court, I think it's Clarence Thomas, you all. I really do. I think it's Clarence Thomas. All right. Going to keep this short, almost 20 minutes in. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate your support. Thank you to all my new subscribers. Patience and grace out there. I had people come to me. There's some weirdos out there who are putting weird comments on psychics, tarot readers, other light workers out there. They are, sort of trying to infiltrate the YouTube community. You all know who we are. You know our voices. You know our energy. If you see something, because they're blocking many of us, we can't see what's happening. So unless you tell us. So if you see something, delete it, report it, and let's just all stay calm. We can't feed into the energy and the negativity of it, and the bizarre behavior really of it. We've got so much other stuff on our plate. We got to stay the course, right? All right. Take good care. I'll talk to you soon.